Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Unpopular Review.
Thank you all for clicking on our faces.
New flag with all that.
Okay, so I wrote down some notes.
Let's do that.
I don't want to sit too hard. That's twice. That'll probably go over about as well as Colonel Dippy.
Because there was no Jay White sighting.
Just straight up gangbanging. This story has been fit. You gotta pay attention.
So Unpopular Review does not. What is she the CEO of, Chris? Jesus, golly.
Let's start the show.
I can tell you what's not next. Me seeing a sequel of this movie. I don't understand the title of this movie, how it goes along with the movie, but I'm going to talk about it, right? I'm going to talk about it along with our normal crew for Tuesdays, because, ladies and gentlemen, I am exclusive now, officially, to Tuesdays with the Federation. New intro coming. Stay with us. Let's start the show. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you're next, he's next, she's next, I'm next. No, none of the above. Let's bring in the next doctor. What's going on?
Oh, that was horrible, but let's see if this movie can shape up to be any better.
That was corny, right? Like this movie had a lot of corny puns, corny jokes. My name, ladies and gentlemen, is the Executive Consultant. This is the next doctor. I wonder what DR stands for. The next DR. Is it doctor? Is it Dominican Republic? Or is it Dumberer? What's going on, Dumberer? How are you feeling tonight?
I feel like my name. I feel like the writers of the script intended. I feel like I would had I paid to see this movie in theaters. But I don't want to spoil it just yet.
Yeah. Don't spoil it yet. It's not like you haven't done it already. Ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about Your Next. This is horror month because it's October, right? And we're back, right? We actually released a couple episodes this last week for the first time in like a month and a half. We were on vacation. I don't know what was going on. But we're back. We're cranking out the videos for you. Your Next. Hey, what a way to come back, right? Your Next. That was good, you know? A lot of people dressed in Eric Rowan, Luke Harper mask. I don't know if you're a wrestling fan, you would know it. And they're going around killing people for no reason until you find out at the end that the creepy little guy that normally is not the killer is the killer, all right? Along with his even more creepy looking woman who wants to have sex next to corpses. So I was intrigued by this movie, right? It might surprise you the way I'm talking about, but I was intrigued by this movie because at first I was just sitting there as I do most movies and I'm paying attention, but at the same time I'm doing my other stuff because I do so much to do. I mean, so much at one time. And I'm like, wow, this is terrible. Can't wait to give this a thumbs down. Right? And because I didn't know what was it. I was like, I thought we were picking horror movies. And too bad Vinny picked this and he's not able to be with us tonight. But Vinny picked this and I would ask him, like, I thought we were picking horror movies. This was a comedy? Was it a comedy spoof? What was this? Right? There wasn't. I might even give it a thriller because it wasn't scary. There's nothing scary about it. The scariest thing is them getting hit with crossbows, and they decided that instead of like crawling or rolling on the ground, behind, underneath the window, they want to pick up a chair and just say, "Hey, look at me, shoot me." We have no idea who these people are that were. So I guess they're mercenaries because, like I said, the creepy little who pretty much had across his forehead, "I'm a weird little creep that's probably going to kill you." And I brought my even creepier girlfriend that's probably going to kill me, with me. We're the killers. Oh, and then you should have known if you were watching this movie, Doctor and Dumber, that this clip was going to be aired. But then the brother was definitely noticeable for me. And when he disappeared into the light, into the darkness without any kind of death, You knew damn well he was a part of the killing.
Thank you.
That phone rang after she disposed of those two jabronis so easily. You knew who was on the other end. This was a weird, creepy movie. Next, Doctor, let's go over to you. What are your thoughts when it comes to this movie?
You know, again, as I've said in these videos before, not really a horror guy. You know, there are some horror type movies that I do like. Aliens, love that franchise. But you know, all in all, not really horror. Horror is not really my thing. So, you know, I went into this one, didn't know anything about it. You know, didn't watch any previews. Just title, You're Next. So, okay. You know, I see the opening. Like, okay, you know, we got the one pump chump there. Girlfriend not satisfied. Then, you know, she gets dispatched. Then he gets dispatched after finding her. And I'm like, okay, all right, we got a kind of a serial killer type thing going on. I can kind of get behind that. And then, you know, we see the old house, the mom, you know, they give a little backstory. You know, she's on medication, you know, but obviously we as the viewers, you know, her first, you know, thing is, oh, someone's upstairs. And the husband's like, I'm not hearing anything. We're like, no, there was someone up there. And being that you came into a house that was unlocked, and your wife, whether she's on medication or not,
yeah,
says, I heard someone upstairs, you should immediately be like, okay, you know what? Let's either leave or, you know, get a sensible weapon and go up there and check it out.
Mm-hmm.
But no. So you know who don't do that? This who don't do that. Okay. We don't do that. I would have been so out of there. It wouldn't have been fun. I wouldn't have been calling everybody that was coming. Hey, change your plans. Because obviously they got money. Change your plans. We're going in the city. You know, we're just going to get a hotel. I want to have the police stop by the house and, you know, check everything out. Because absolutely not. But, you know, that sets up the movie. And it just goes down from there. You know, it was a I mean, I did question why they couldn't just crawl past the window. It was a full, you know, pretty big window. It wasn't all the way to the floor, though, as we saw, because they were going in and out of windows, you know, left and right. So it wasn't all the way to the floor. It was a pretty big window. But, yeah, I agree. They could have probably just crawled by, you know. I mean, then the whole idea of, oh, let's make a run for it. Like,
no, nothing. You knew when that woman say, "Oh, I can do it. Y'all don't have no thing for me," and then she's taking her time. She's winding up for the death. And that's all you look at her. You're like, "Oh, you're about to die." You saw Resident Evil when the Red Queen or Red Princess or what the hell her name was, like, you're all going to die now. Yeah, that's how I felt like when she was winded up that she wasn't going to make it past the door. Like, what did you think was going to happen? Give me a break.
I mean, quite frankly, I thought that she was just going to get a crossbow bolt, you know, to her head as soon as she crossed the threshold. But the razor wire was a nice touch. But yeah, this movie, it had a lot of stupidness in it, more so than normal in a horror, you know, movie, the normal horror tropes of people being stupid. But it was kind of funny and entertaining at the same time, you know. And I think for me, that's not really a horror buff. That was, well, redeeming factor, I would say. But that's all I'll give on it for now. I'll let y'all continue.
I'd like to thank my two co-hosts for being polite because they do the job I can't do. Let me just say that this movie is filled with the most unlikable cast of characters I've ever seen. And that's very hard to do. What's the problem with that, ladies and gentlemen? Well, the problem is when they start dying off and they're unlikable, you don't care.
You
don't. They have no impact. And because you aren't with them long enough to hate them, you don't cheer when they die. Also, even the heroine, the final girl, is unlikable. There's nothing likable about her. So even though she's victorious and having all of these, Sarah Connor moments, you don't care. Why? Because you don't like her and you don't know her. And the only explanation as to how she's able to kill these people who are trained survivalists, as they say, and ex-service members who just got out, is because when she was under 15 years old, living in the outback in Australia, her father was a survivalist. But at 15, she was taken to the States and she lived a normal life. Can I ask you, anybody out there who does survivalist training? Perhaps our co-host, who now is nowhere to be found because he picked a bum-ass movie.
He went to Nashville actually this weekend.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I said, survivalist training. What do they teach that military members, also men in their prime, 4 of them can't take out one woman? Can we get back to the acting? I'm no actor. Hell, I'm no writer either. But if I were, I think I could do a better job. It was all over the place. It was Looney Tunes. Chris mentioned it. I'm going to piggyback on it. The minute you saw these people, you said, oh, well, there he is right there. There's the killer. There's the cohort. The brother's been gone all this time, and everybody else, we've seen how they've died exactly. Even the wife of the guy who got shot in the back, not just through the back, but through his lungs with an arrow, shot from a crossbow, who's the wife is running and she's standing there looking into somebody's living room. And I don't know how soldiers train for this, but he pushed her through a reinforced glass and she shattered it. I don't know how you train for that, but that's incredible, by the way. But this guy who got shot, I forgot this earlier, who got shot with a crossbow in his lungs. Did you see the scene when he ran up the stairs, no problem? He moved faster than me on the steps than I can. How is that possible? What's going on?
Work ethic.
They had no work ethic, clearly, because that's the whole point of the movie. Not all of them were lazy bums. I thought that the crazy mom was going to be the killer, and everybody else knew that she liked to kill people, and that was the whole conceit of the film. No, she just likes to stay in bed and not scream until the killer is this close from her neck with a machete. Or they want to be like the other woman who sees the killer under the bed, can't see his body, can only see the mask. And then she doesn't tell people what's going on. She just runs out the house. Getting back to that fat runner who escaped for the whole movie. He escaped. Nobody has seen him. The survivalist girl who knows everything hasn't picked up on the fact that he's part of this plot. And it's only till the very end, after she knew that she could text 911 and they would call, and she knew that she had texted them and they texted her back about 15 or 20 minutes ago, meaning that they should be right there, and there's no reason for her to kill the guy because the police could be there and they could misconstrue it. But
Why
no,
not?
huh?
Why not?
Those were her words. Why not?
Because if the police see you literally stab somebody in the eyeball, they're going to do like they did in this one. And then she's stuck there and has to explain why the cop is killed. And cops don't generally like that. You know, when there's a murder of a civilian, nobody knows who did it. But when a cop is murdered, all hands on deck. Don't blame me, blame your boys in blue. Anyway, I got a clip to explain what I felt about this movie. Chris, I just like to play it. Because the whole time I'm watching this movie, all the way to the end, this is what it felt.
As soon as we clean him up, I'm sure you'll recognize him. There. Look familiar?
Uncle Stewart!
Like in person. He thought he could scare you into giving up the family fortune.
The plot of You're Next. It's terrible. I know we got to cut to a commercial break before we get my final thoughts, but please tune in because you might be surprised what I thought about this movie in the end.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll take a quick commercial break. When we come back, more. You're next. Stay with us. You're watching Unpopular Review. That's right, Alien. You're next. Here at Unpopular Review Entertainment on Tuesdays, Federation Tuesdays, as we like to call it, Executive Consultant Next, Dr. and Dummerer here. We're here for our final thoughts on Your Next, and I'm actually going to take the lead and go first. It's a tough one for me. As far
Hey,
as
before you go, that's a good pick for the Tuesday crew to do, Alien, because we didn't think to do that. Usually we come up with these ideas, but I'm salute to them for coming up with that movie idea of reviewing Alien. I wonder if they're going to do Aliens after that. Go ahead.
Alien franchise coming up.
Really?
Yes.
I
Alien.
wish we had Doctor, we should have thought of that.
We should have.
We should have thought of that.
Missed opportunities.
You win some, you lose some. And some are taken from you.
I'm going to disagree with James on this one. I thought there was one character that was likable. I thought the person, the woman who's killing everybody with the same training that you get off of YouTube, I thought she did a good job, and I liked her, but I thought the plot was stupid. The plot's even dumber when I see the Scooby-Doo clip because it was exactly the same shit. So it's going to get a thumbs down for me. No fancy stuff this time. It just gets a straight African American thumbs down from the executive. Next, Doctor, we're on you.
So I will say that, because she did her survivalist training in Australia, it's bonus points because we know that Australia is the land of nope. So I will kind of give it to her that she should have a little bit of an edge up on some, probably. I mean, if they were able to be hired as mercenaries, they probably weren't the best in the military. They probably just skated through, and they just, made it out. And now they're looking for money because they couldn't hack it and stay in there. So, I'll give it that. But, yeah, I mean, the plot was rather basic. It was just something kind of, get that's what's going on at the very end. Just kind of get that, surprise factor. It wasn't that big of a surprise. Again, as you both have pointed out, the signs were written on the wall. I mean, when the girlfriend of the brother, the evil brother, showed up, I mean, she barely even acknowledged them. Like, y'all about to die anyway. Why should I even say hello? That was like giving off the vibes already. I was like, man, something's up with her. So yeah, but I will say that it was entertaining to go through the stupidity journey, just to see the level of stupid they were going to exhibit and see it pay off. Whether, I didn't really get any buy-in for the characters themselves, but the different situations that happened, yeah, I thought those were pretty funny. So, I think it will skate by and get a thumbs up from me. A light-skinned thumbs up.
I couldn't disagree with you more. I call on a collective memory of us three years ago in Virginia, where a certain captain said this: I have had enough of you. And we all said it together then, and that's what we said really about this movie today, okay? Because it was terrible. I don't know who Rashad knows on the filming crew of this movie, but tell him you'll still be friends. The movie was trash. The best twist in this movie, and by the way, I blame Jigsaw, would have been for Jigsaw himself to get up off that floor and say, the key is over there. And I hear that, and I would have been like, Jigsaw 12, let's go, baby, because it was amazing. They had so many masks in here. I said the only one that they're missing is this fool right here, because if I saw if I saw another mask and that fool didn't pop up and say, Alice, anything to save this movie, okay? Even the cop at the end was dumb. He was a dummy cop. Somebody calls 911 and says, you presume in the text, you don't just say, hey, come to this house, but you say, hey, people are being killed. One cop shows up. And we know there's more cops because he asked for backup immediately, meaning that they could have sent more cops. So it's a local municipality of dummy cops, a local family of dummies, and then people connected to the dummy family. The only good thing about this movie were those two ladies at the beginning of this movie. Shout out to them and what they did. Shout out to Gravity for not killing them. I could have watched that scene over and over again because I said this right here is acting, and this right here makes this movie. Everything else broke it. And those two ladies at the beginning of the movie, as good as they were, as great as they were, could not save this film. Chris, can you cue up the Black Caesar hand for me, please? Just a thumbs down.
Oh, I love it. You are on mute, by the way.
Yeah, it was Gladiator 2 coming out, ladies and gentlemen, in a few weeks. In the meantime, that's it for your next. Let's hope we never have to talk about this movie again. Vinny, good job of picking this movie. The joke was on us. All right. So, for him, for Dumber, for Next Doctor, I'm the exec consultant. Thank you so much for watching us. We will see you next Tuesday for Aliens. Have a good night, everybody. Cool things.
Chris, were you trying to review Small 2 or what?